Everybody, BobbyFi here. Going to be going through the first look for the NBA. We don't have that many 3-game slates left, so trying to play the ones that we do. Hopefully, we'll continue to have them, and teams will stay alive tonight. I'm looking at you, Milwaukee and Philadelphia. And so I'm going to go game by game, talk through it quickly. We'll cover a lot more of it at 6 Eastern time. Hopefully, Sheets will be able to join us, but if not, it'll just be me. I'm happy to go through the basketball stuff. Again, had a chance to win the $4 last night. The million people won. I somehow had a unique lineup and just barely missed. Still had an okay night, but yeah, it was one of those nights where I felt like I could have something could have happened. Just that overtime in the Laker game was looking very possible, and if that happens, I think I win a ton of money. So that could have been a lot of fun. Anyway, no more complaining. Ready to get into tonight. We're going to talk through this on each side of everything. So I'm just going to roll over and grab Goldie's ownership and put it closer to the to my ownership. So something I've got it at the very front now, and I don't need it that far over. I just want it by the ownership. Okay, just there we go. All right, so we've got Goldie's ownership, and I'm just sort of going to use that as I think it's a little bit stronger early in the day than the SaberSim projection, just in terms of ownership. So guys from this game that I have probably the most interest in Kelly Oubre. I also think that Maxey at low ownership is really interesting in a must-win. We've seen big games out of him in this series, but nobody who quite makes the priority list. This is not obviously the best game environment on the slate. I think mostly what you're going to see from me is playing Indy, Milwaukee, and there's a lot of news to come in that one, but I think we pretty much know what's most likely to happen. So if there was anybody who I would prioritize, I do think that Kelly Oubre, Aaron Nesmith is something that I've been debating today, which one of those I want to play. And I think that the answer might be Oubre, except for the fact that it gives me more exposure to a late game and I can late swap and stuff if I don't want to. So I do like Oubre. I am not personally going to I'll get to some Embiid in like my large field small buy-in, but I'm not going to get to that much Embiid, I don't think, overall today. It's just a pricing thing, where the value is. Other names to consider: Kyle Lowry. Feels gross, but saying Tobias Harris. I do think that, the Sixers side should be one of the lower owned sides in the slate. So it is one way you can get different, is playing some Sixers probably. I really like Anunoby today. I think that his results are going to come in waves. You're going to see the big games, and no matter what, he's such a great player. Like I just would love to have a guy like this in my team. What a winner. What a defender. Like, he's guarding Embiid and he'll guard the point guards. Like he just does everything. So I actually do like him as a value piece. That I would consider to be priority-ish, and I think it's pretty good for what it's worth in this game. Maybe the series is over. I think it's another competitive game, and I would not be surprised if Philadelphia takes this game down. So I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say Philadelphia wins this one. But I mean, I like this Knicks team. I'm not married to that take. Do like Brunson as a spend up. It's an interesting conversation. Like, it's weird because Brunson's $1,400 cheaper than Embiid, but I do think that they're both really, like, if you want just the raw points, I do think Brunson is going to, if we see what happens. If he shoots the ball well, he's going to have like 70 fantasy points. If he doesn't shoot the ball well, he's probably still going to get close to 45. So borderline priority play for me today, but just on the outside looking in. Love what Josh Hart is doing. Josh Hart went 0 for 7 from the floor, still put up 36 fantasy points. I love that kind of stuff. The guy does all the other things right. Nobody else is going to make the priority list, but I will probably get overweight the Miles McBride, and I will probably be overweight Dante DiVincenzo. Well, that's not going to be hard to be overweight because he's going to be like unowned. As well as I'm considering what they do if they announce that Mitchell Robinson is in, and that's going to be a big piece. So if he's not, I will go back. I will take some Hartenson, and I will definitely play some precious shares if we don't have Mitch Robinson. So still need to wait on information in that one. That's going to be the theme of a lot of this stuff, because the Indy Milwaukee game is loaded with Q tags. But Mitch Rob, we just really don't know where he's at. I think he's supposed to play tonight. We'll see. That's all I can say. He looks pretty banged up. I actually don't understand why Jonathan Isaac's projection is this bad. I know his minutes were cut in the last game. He still put up 32 fantasy points. I like Jonathan Isaac here. I think that playing one of Isaac or Wagner is still a good idea. I've been saying that throughout the series. And then you get the Wendell Carter part of it too, who I also think deserves to be in the mix. I don't mind Isaac off the bench, but I think that's the way I look at it. You play one of these three guys, in my opinion. Now, you could get burned on that because they can go Paolo at the 5, but even still, there's double bigs on the other side. You're going to see a lot of Isaac and Wagner out there. So I'm kind of on the side of like one of these guys. Isaac I have ahead. I don't mind if we end up deciding to go Carter. Carter's going to be the one who projects better, who's going to be higher owned, I think, assuming that this keep the starting line the same, which I don't know why they would change. Like Paolo and Franz a lot. Don't know if I'm going to get to them because I'm so overweight the later game. I think Suggs at low ownership is a really interesting play. And again, though, priority-wise, I am still going to go with Isaac at this moment. I do think that there is upside on that value. And as Bill Simmons always says, the modern-day Bill Russell, yeah, there's some upside with that guy. So Cleveland, really like Mobley. Mobley and Allen are both super interesting. I think it's interesting that Allen was so unowned, kept putting up huge games. He's technically questionable. I'm expecting him to play, but just keep that in mind. If he's hobbled at all, if anything's wrong, like you might get more Mobley stuff. So right now I'm putting the tag on Mobley. I love this price for Donovan Mitchell. I do think getting to him at 8,100 when more people are going to play Middleton at 85, and I understand why, but I think this could be a good spot to get overweight both Mitchell, Garland, and potentially get to a little Levert and Struss as well. I think Cleveland bounces back tonight. I like this series to go 7. I picked Cleveland in 7. Kind of leaning that I might like Orlando, and Orlando looked great in the last 2 games, but still going to stick with my original pick. And Mobley just sort of on the just barely making the core plays list. When we go through the Indiana side, okay, so Halliburton with the back spasms. Now the problem is back spasms are no joke, and they can act up and flare up at any time, and it's really hard to play basketball when they're really acting up, especially playing point guard. So because of that, I mean, whether he plays or not, if he's gimpy or if he's not able to do all the things, I'm going to be well overweight the Turner and Siakam duo. I mentioned Neesmith. I think because the game starts later, I have him just ahead of Hield. You can see most of my priorities are going to come from this game. I also like Nembhard for value, and I like Obi Toppin. So I'm going to be very overweight this game. We just need to know more about Halliburton, and we need confirmation on the other side with Milwaukee, because right now, this is really hard to know. I'm assuming that, look, we can say Giannis and Lillard are out. Would it be totally out of the question that one of them ends up being able to play? No, I think it's possible. Beverly now probable, was questionable about 25 minutes ago, I think. Middleton probable. I think you're probably doing this, and again, you're going to get most of your guys from this game. I'm good with the Beasley thing. What I would like to ask people is, what the hell were they watching? Why is Andre Jackson projected to not play, to play 14 minutes? I don't know what that's about. I think Andre Jackson, they need athleticism to keep up with Indiana. He's like one of their better athletes. If it's not him, it's going to be Beauchamp. Somebody's going to play like that, like more minutes than they project. And Andre Jackson coming off the game, I'm not going to prioritize him, but this is a guy who I'm planning on having like 25% of tonight. Even though it's speculative, I think it's worth it. I think also taking shots with Connaughton, especially at home, makes some sense too. AJ Green is the one they're all going towards. Fair enough. But give me look, the price difference and everything versus the ownership. I'll take the shots with Connaughton and Jackson just over Green as a way of getting a little bit different on this slate. I think that's a pretty wise thing to do. But I'll be overweight everybody on these last games, to be honest with you. It's just really hard not to be. And I say I'm going to be overweight, but really by the time it all locks, I think the field's going to be overweight too. So it's not going to be overweight. It's just going to be, we're all going to have a lot of action in this last game. So using pieces from the other games to get different, meanwhile keeping like a 4 or 5 man core from this last game, is my overall strategy for today's slate. I will be live at 6 Eastern to talk through the final thoughts on the slate. Please give us a like and subscribe. We appreciate being able to do these videos for free. Thanks for tuning in with us today. I know it's not the most exciting thing. People are a little bit, they're done with NBA. Some people are just you're in the baseball rut, and there's like just so much information about it. But I'm playing this NBA season out, so we're gonna get some of this, and then we'll do some showdowns. I'll talk to Brandon Cruz and get him to do some showdown shows with us, just so we can get a ton of people in here, because Brandon is everybody just wants to see Brandon's pretty face. What can I say? No, he's an awesome with this stuff. So yeah, let's get the likes up. So we appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get out of here because it's an early show. We don't have a whole lot going on in here. I'm going to say good luck to everybody.